Good afternoon, welcome to one of the best days in sport, the 17th and last day of the Dafabet World Championship. We're halfway through our crucible final between the double defending champion Ronnie O'Sullivan and the world number 3 Mark Selby, who hung on grimly as the rocket threatened to turn on the afterburners yesterday. In fact, there's only 3 frames between these men, with a possible 18 more still to play today. So what will happen when snooker's irresistible force meets its immovable object? We're about to find out.
Mark's a great player. You know, I've had my problems with Mark over the years, you know, in matches.
The way Ronnie plays, I mean, he's obviously played fantastic to win 2 matches with sessions to spare.
Over the last 2 or 3 years since I worked with Steve Peters, I have even more admiration for Mark Selby, because I know how tough the mental side of the game is. I've just got nothing but admiration for how he plays. He's a tough nut to crack.
If it goes scrappy, I'm willing to stay out there as long as possible. And if it goes open, I believe in my own ability that I can score as well.
When I won it before, I just kind of thought, yeah, you know, I feel like that's cemented my legacy in the game.
That's my childhood dream. That's what you play snooker for, to be a world champion and lift that trophy at the end of the week.
If I got 6, I could compare myself to Hendry then. I think 6 is, in this day and age, it's probably worth 7 to Stevens.
As Ronnie O'Sullivan, I felt comfortable out there. I think my opponent didn't put me under any severe pressure, so I was able to play within myself. But even so, I think I've missed a trick by only being 10-7 overnight.
OK, so I suffered a bit of a hangover from my semi-final match, but I can be really proud of myself the way I hung around all day. And to win the final 2 frames, well, Ronnie won't have slept well, but I have.
Even though I've got Q-tip problems, and I know my opponent will probably play better today than he did yesterday, I think I can handle anything he throws at me. And if I can win this afternoon session, well, I've more or less got my hands on that trophy.
It's vital I don't lose this opening mini-session, but if I can win it, I'm right back in this match. And Ronnie knows me. I'm not going anywhere.
And the real protagonists are waiting backstage. Mark Selby's had a chance to get some rest overnight. He looked drained yesterday after his marathon late-night efforts in his semi-final. Could only muster a top break of 62 yesterday, but he really fought hard to emerge only 3 behind O'Sullivan. He'll take great heart from that. Ronnie, of course, eyeing a 6th world title and a 3rd in a row. Remember, he's never lost a... Are ready. The Crucible Arena awaits, and so too does MC Rob Walker.
Thanks, Hazel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. History is about to be made once again here in this atmospheric arena. It's the last day of this year's Dafabet World Snooker Championship final. The stage is set. The players are ready. So once again, let's get the boys on the bays. Please welcome A player who so often thrives on the biggest occasions of all. Here he is in his second World Championship final. Since his first in '07, he's lifted 6 major titles and become one of the very best in the world. He is one of the sport's finest ambassadors. It's a massive day for the man who always plays with a smile on his face. That's why we call him the Jester from Leicester. Here's Mark Selby. And his opponent, the most exciting player ever to grace the modern game. He's been entertaining the world for more than 2 decades. 5 times a winner here at the Crucible. Please welcome your defending world champion, blink and you'll miss him, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
So 8 more frames to play in this third session. We won't be short on talking points out there today, I'm sure, and we won't be short on things to say in the commentary box either, not with our All-Ireland duo on duty, world champions both, Ken Doherty and Dennis Taylor. All yours, gents.
Thanks, Hazel.
Thank you very much, Hazel, and a very good afternoon to everyone watching.
Down now, please. Thank you. Yeah.
What an important session, Mark Selby.
Thank you, ladies
is
and
about
gentlemen.
to start.
Frame 18, Mark Selby to break.
The atmosphere is fantastic. The final day of the World Snooker Championship. And he needs to carry on from where he left off, Ken. He finished with a 58 and 62 break. So important, those last 2 frames.
Yeah, could well prove to be. And what a reception both players got coming into this wonderful Crucible theatre. Doesn't get much better than this as a snooker player, that's for sure. Mark Selby, would have got a good night's sleep last night winning those last 2 frames. How important that may prove to be, we'll soon find out. Good start from O'Sullivan.
I'm sure this table is getting quicker and quicker because that white, just have a look at this. He's potted that, hoping to drop on a ball colour, and watch the cue ball. It just keeps on running and past the balk line in the end. This is, well, that's a bit of an attacking shot to start with. Have a look at that.
Well, that certainly sends out a signal of intention from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Well, there's a very keen snooker fan watching. Stephen Fry, great to see him here again this year. But that yellow that Ronnie knocked in, I mean, most players would have rolled in behind it.
Yeah, just watch the screw and the side spin he got off that second cushion particularly. Excellent shot.
Nine.
It's definitely going to be his philosophy during this session and session tonight. Of course, he's definitely going to go for his shots, Dennis. He's not going to try and beat Mark in a safety battle, even though he's quite proficient in that part of the game. He's going to attack right from the front.
Yeah, he showed that with the yellow we keep referring to. And this is just the start he was looking for, not the start that Mark Selby was after, but there's the match time. And there's the putt success rate at 90%. Just dropped a little bit. Ronnie was up at 94% at one stage. Mark gradually creeping up to the 90%. He's at 89.
16. 17.
Can't separate them on the tactical side of the game, both at 77%, but one more red available, and then it's not a good pack to go in. But look at the highest break of Mark, just 62. When you think he made 4 centuries in the semi-final against Neil
24.
Robertson, but he was a bit shattered, it has to be said, for the start of the final.
Yeah, quite amazing.
25.
He's won 7 frames with a top break of 62, but this is the important shot here. He doesn't want to go into the 2 reds left of the pink. He really needs to hit that pink and red if he can. I don't think he's on anything now. I think red into
32.
balk, possibly into the green pocket, possible double on as well. So you see the split.
Yeah, he stunned it in, which was the way to open the reds up. It just didn't work out for him. Well, he's took that double on, but he played it as a shot to nothing.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
well, having said
32.
that, I'm not sure. I don't think you can see enough of the red past the pink to take it on. So 2 reds up the other end of the table now. It could be a little bit of an awkward frame. How did that stay out? That's 3 reds up the other end of the table now. So it might turn into a tactical frame. Well, what an unusual frame. Look where the green is gone. I've never ever seen that before at the start of a frame. Yellow over one pocket, green over another. Amazing.
And there's another very interested spectator. Nicky McBride, drummer of Iron Maiden, all the way from Florida, came and loves his snooker. Been watching it out there every day these last couple of weeks.
Just got to be a little bit careful. Brendan Moore's keeping a keen eye on that yellow and waistcoat. And there's another red headed up to the other end. And there's Ronnie Jr. and he's still got those fabulous glasses with him. I love them. He does look like his dad, doesn't he? But this is going to, well, I don't know how they're going to resolve this with both corner pockets blocked. Yeah, Ronnie was hoping to get off and maybe make a frame-winning break, but that split on the reds ended all that.
Well, Mark's just having a look to see if he can get by the bunch of reds, the 4 reds that possibly take this red into the right centre. I'm not quite sure whether he has enough of it from our angle. But if you can see enough of it, it's certainly worth taking on. obviously not enough of the red to attempt the pot. But this is quite unusual, Dennis. As you said, I've never seen yellow over its pocket, green over its own pocket, and 6 reds in balk. It's quite unusual. I wonder, is there a possible plan? 2 reds very close together there. He'd have to make it, but he hasn't even entertained the possibility.
It looks as if he might just have to roll to this red and do very little on the cue ball. That was all he could do.
It's quite amazing. We've had, I think, 3 re-racks in this match already. We had 2 last night and 1 yesterday afternoon. We may have another.
Well, the only thing, Ronnie's got a 32-point advantage, so you wouldn't really want to be having a re-rack with that lead. It did happen once in the World Team Championship. It was Northern Ireland playing England, and Tommy Murphy was playing Steve Davis. Tommy led by 40, and the referee were going to give them 3 shots each. I tried to dash down and tell Tommy just to knock the ball in. He's got a 40-point advantage. When I got down, the balls were re-racked, and Steve made a 70 or 80 break, and that was the end of that frame. Watch the double kiss if he's trying to get over behind the black here. No, he doesn't want to go in off. He doesn't want to go in there.
Foul.
Now that sort of thing's out, because there's a red on for both middle pockets, and he can remove the yellow or the green. He was worried about sending the red onto the pink. He never dreamt he'd send the cue ball in the pocket.
Oh, what a chance he's gifted Mark Selby here.
One.
Yeah, I'll try and remove the green from the pocket. And that will, of course, open it up for the 4 reds into that pocket.
It's a pretty easy prediction. Red, green, red, yellow. And he's got the colours back on their spots. All but the pink. And the black's just off its spot slightly. Frames back to normal. In fact, he's going up for the blue. Which is not a bad thing. He doesn't have to remove that yellow. The back red of the 3 will go, and that will clear the path for the other 2.
He's got a nice angle just to
10.
To nudge one of these reds even further into open play.
11.
And now the pink spot is freed, so certainly all the reds in potable positions. This is an excellent opportunity to close the gap.
$17. 18.
And from a psychological point of view, it's a big frame for Mark Selby, because Ronnie will be sitting there thinking to himself, well, that was a really careless shot I played. But they're starting to get a little awkward with all the reds up
24.
the other end of the table, and he won't be scoring a lot of points, so he'll have to pot quite a few to leave himself where Ronnie needs a snooker.
25. 32.
A little bit straight on this red. We'll have to use his extension and extended rest. Ideally, I'd like to get on the yellow from this red. If you can somehow stun across and maybe bring the red that's close to the top cushion more into play, a little bit further up the table, that would be perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, didn't have the angle that
33.
time to stun over to that red, but still in good position. Yellow or brown could take care. And the red beside the green is no problem, because once the yellow is potted, that red will be open into that pocket.
$35. $36.
Knocked the green safe. Let's see, has he got enough points? He's 8 in front. He'd have to get high-valued colours to leave himself not needing that difficult green.
40.
I suppose if he stayed on the brown, he'd be okay.
41.
Yeah, he'll certainly glance up at the scores pretty soon, and all I've done is calculations.
Yeah, if he takes browns with these 2 remaining reds and the yellow, Ronnie will be at the snooker's required stage.
Certainly looking, nice shot. Certainly looking a little bit fresher this afternoon. At
45.
times, certainly last night, Dennis, he looked very weary, jaded. We always ask the question of whether that epic semi-final against Neil Robertson, what had sort of taken out of
46.
Mark Selby. And at times, during last night's game, certainly looked like it had taken its toll, but looks a lot fresher today.
Yeah, he could afford to take 1 yellow there. He already checked the scoreboard. He's 20 ahead.
48.
Once again, just making sure. If he pots the red and the brown and the yellow, Ronnie will need a snooker.
49.
He's took them well. It was, as I said, a careless in off from Ronnie that cost this. Just a half ball to try and get in behind the pink and black, but he didn't want to send the red near the
53.
pink. And, well, you couldn't really play that in off if you tried it. Just didn't expect that to happen. There's the difference, 25, so the yellow will be 27 with 25 remaining. Yeah, as Steve Davis was saying
55.
before, I'm sure Mark had a good night's sleep, and with no morning sessions, He'll have slept well, and it's the best possible start for him, but the frame's not quite safe just yet.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he doesn't want to be rolling this green over the pocket.
Mark Selby, 55.
Well, nice 55 break from Mark Selby. However, he won't be happy with where the pink has gone. He's created quite a target for Ronnie O'Sullivan should he get a snooker behind pink and black.
3.
Some shot in the green, but he certainly didn't play the pot. Trying to screw that cue ball off the side cushion, back cushion in behind the pink and black.
Didn't get enough side, and he stuck the brown up here.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 3.
So it was a very good start from Ronnie. It's just the split on the reds when he ran out of position, and then that in-off there with the... Well, the split wasn't a mistake, the in-off was.
4.
It was an unusual frame with the yellow over one pocket, the green over the other. Something I've very rarely seen at the start of a frame. Well, playing an exhibition shot here, and have a look at this cue ball.
15.
Well, you wouldn't say it was perfect. He's gone for another trick shot. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, well. What about that for a finish? Ronnie O'Sullivan was in first, made 32, but Mark Selby with that break of 55 has given himself the best possible start, and he closes to just 2 behind. It's 10-8.
Well, he sure looks fresher today, doesn't he? And John, you know, I wonder what kind of heart he would have taken from winning those final frames of the session, 2 massive frames last night to really keep him in this match.
Well, it's no doubt about it, it's changed the match. I mean, if he doesn't win those 2 frames the way he wins it, you know, I can't see any other result but Ronnie running away with it. I spoke to him immediately after the session last night, just outside here, chatting away to him, and he said, look, I missed a black off the spot, I could have got 4-4 out of it. He said, and last night I only lost the session 5-4. He said, and I'm shattered. He said, you know, he should have been tired all day after the Robertson game. He said, so good night's sleep. He said, and we'll try again tomorrow. And
conversely, from Ronnie's perspective, Stephen, to be 10-7 ahead and obviously now 10-8, having played some reasonable snooker, including 2 centuries, then clearly, will he be starting to worry a little bit, do you think?
Yeah, you certainly want to be, if you're playing much better and scoring heavier than your opponent, you certainly want to be pulling away a bigger lead. So 10-7 now, 10-8 it's interesting to see how Ronnie reacts now.
Indeed, yeah. Back we go.
So, Ronnie O'Sullivan breaks off, left-handed. This 19th frame. And a good break off it is. Excellent shot.
I was saying yesterday, Ken, every time he breaks off, Ronnie, or the biggest percentage of the time, that red goes next to the black. It's amazing. It happens all the time.
It's quite unusual, isn't it? He seems to get, or seems to think that he gets more side spin on the ball when he breaks off left-handed.
This is a shot you usually practice as a 4 cushion escape into the bunch. I expect him to get this. As long as he misses the middle pocket, but he hasn't. So just a slight adjustment needed.
And a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Yeah, let's have a look at his break here. I'm speaking with Stephen Hendry. Yeah, he just finds that he gets a little bit more side spin at the right-hand side.
Ronnie.
Swing that cue ball off 4 cushions behind the green.
Let's see, that's what he's looking for, somewhere along the line there, just to miss the middle pocket. He's got the middle pocket again. So he just
Foul.
needs a slight bit of right-hand side, I think, just to help this. That's what he's trying to do, Hawkeye's there again.
Okay, Mark. Ronnie. Yep.
Just a little touch more side. Yeah, that's, well, he's gone too much this time. That's amazing.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Not like Mark Selby. I'm going to have to lose that nickname, Satnav Selby's.
I'll tell you what, if the Hawkeye ever takes up the game, Dennis, we're all in trouble.
No, that's so unlike Mark.
Foul and a miss.
This is baffling.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
Yeah, I saw him earlier going over to feel that first cushion on the yellow side. It seems like it's coming off. But there you see it again. It seems like it's coming off at a strange angle.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
This is incredible. 22 points away in fouls. He won't really be concerned with the points, but he certainly doesn't want to give Ronnie an easy opening.
Yeah, I think this is a better line for him. He'll get it this time. Or he's got the back red. He didn't play to hit that one. But it'll do. Touching. Well, you could say he's got the pace of the table because that was judged to perfection.
Yeah, Mark just checking to see if he'd be knocking any reds toward his left-hand corner pocket. Just got to be careful if he hits these too hard. That's pretty good. Excellent pace. Have a look at that. Great shot.
And the standard of safety play at the moment is excellent from both players. I think we showed you the stat at the beginning that they were evenly matched in the Safety success department. We're only just 1% ahead now. Now does this red go at the back of the bunch, the one that's to the right of the cue ball? If it does, he could take it on and push the white through those reds and maybe bring the pink into play and every chance of getting onto the blue. And it will go. So this is certainly going to open the game up here. Amazing. He only hit one red there, believe it or not. And look where he's knocked it to. He thought most of the reds would move there. Amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those shots that you try and bounce the cue ball. We've seen a lot of those shots this week, and particularly with the slow-mo camera, how much the cue ball bounces over the reds. It's not a foul once you don't bounce over the object ball.
Yes, Ken, it was a rule that did change. It used to be a foul shot, that.
Mark Selby, 1.
And then the word of the rule, jumping an intervening ball. He may just... Well, can he see enough of that red? That's near the corner pocket. No, he can't. So if he's going to come down off the pack, he's got to be absolutely spot on with the length here. Doesn't want to hit the blue.
Well, at the moment, Mike Selby's safety is forcing opportunities from Ronnie O'Sullivan.
That's 1.
That's a bit too hard of where he wanted that cue ball. The black's tied up, the pink's okay, but he's having to run away up the table again off this. He might be able to get the blue back on its spot.
6.
He's got the blue into the middle, but so close to that cushion on the right hand side, it just makes this pot a little bit more difficult. Good pot. His intended red was the red just to the right of the pink. He's gone a little bit too far for
11.
that. But potting this red next to the black will certainly release the black and maybe those two reds just beside it.
I think he'll play the safety here. I think he's got Ronnie just rocking a little bit here after what happened in that opening frame, so he doesn't want to take any undue risks. He's back at... That's the first time in the final he's at 90%, but he is keeping it tight
Mark Selby,
here.
11.
And if he gets back to 10-9 after being 5 frames behind, you know, you'd suddenly have to think, well, Mark Selby's looking the favourite, but a long way to go. We've seen what Ronnie could do against Joe Perry when he was asked the question. He made a couple of century breaks.
Well, there's 2 reds that you see Marcus looking at. He's wondering, can he make these 2 into a plant into this bottom left-hand corner pocket? They're not dead set, so he has to hit the first red almost full ball. He'll be taking a chance with it, but it may be worth having a go. Well, he's decided against it. I don't think he's left it for Ronnie, so good shot. Ronnie having a look at it, but I don't think he can get at it from where the cue ball is positioned.
Well, that would be a brave shot if he takes this red on and tries to hold for the pink to the middle pocket. But he's normally pretty attacking, as Mark, when he gets going, but he's just checking to see what he would leave if he did take that on. And he looks in a pretty confident mood, and he is taking it on. Just have a look where he's put the cue ball. Mind you, once he missed the pot by so much, that red could have brought some of the other reds into play. I don't think there's anything available for Ronnie. But once he jawed that red, it could have definitely pushed a few on.
He's coming back down to have a look at those 2 reds. They haven't moved, of course, so will he take a chance? Yeah, all the way. And is he on the brown?
1.
Well worked out, but no colour to follow, so just a safety shot.
Yeah, the plant was quite a difficult one. He couldn't risk it and aware that he leave the white short of the brown. He had to sort of play a little bit of safety at the same time, but if he could drop in behind the green, it'd be quite a good shot. Have to do it off the brown. So he's thought of that option. He's back looking at it again.
Brown ball.
So it's off the brown and try and get tight in behind the green. He's played it well.
Mark Selby 1.
got to just land on that red that's to the left of the 2 from behind, just to leave everything safe. If he misses this, he could leave a pot on. Got to be absolutely spot on just to nestle onto it, and he's going around the back of it. Okay, that one may not pot, but there's one
Mark
to the
Selby.
middle. The one there's the pink.
Okay.
He's looked at them both and has decided to put Ronnie back in, hoping that Ronnie maybe will hit it a little harder and leave an easier pot. It's amazing, Ken, since that opening frame when he split into the reds when he was on 32 and didn't get on anything, he hasn't really been in with any sort of chance, Ronnie, has he?
He hasn't had a chance at all. And since that sort of careless in-off, you would have to say.
Do you want to just check?
Yeah, they're just going to check with the monitor.
How's it look, Ollie? No. Yeah. See, I thought if you just more or less smack him like full in face with the blue, that's what I'm looking at.
I think Ronnie could just see more of the cushion, and that's what he's trying to explain to referee Brendan Moore.
Does that
looks pretty good. That's where they were. And this is where they are now. I don't think it really makes much difference to the shot. I mean, as long as he can see enough of the side cushion, because he's going to play the same shot, just try and nestle onto that loose red. This looks a little bit firm. Has he got it? Has it gone around the back? It has, and this time he's left it on.
And miss. Mark Selby full.
Yeah, that was the reason Mark had it put back. He had a difficult red into the middle. He thought about it and he thought, well, maybe if Ronnie has another go, he'll hit it a little bit too hard, and that's exactly what happened. So he's in with a very good chance here.
One.
Okay, the black's out of commission, but there's 3 or 4 reds available. Pink and blue are on their spots virtually.
Yes, and at the moment, it's Mark Selby's match
5.
play. That's good safety play that's creating these opportunities.
6.
And it's not the type of game that Ronnie wants. He wants everything in the open. Fast frames, big breaks, but certainly it's a classic of completely different styles, Dennis, isn't it?
Yeah, although Mark was saying in his interview, if he wants an open game, I don't mind that either, because he's quite capable of knocking the big breaks in. He made 4 centuries against Neil Robertson.
30.
Yeah, you don't get to win 3 Masters without being able to mix it and break build. He really is a class act, as we see the red jump there, and the only thing missing from his CV is the World Championship, and he's going to really give it his best shot now. You can sense that the way he's walking around the table.
Yeah, just a little straight on the pink. Can he try and force a bit of an angle for that red, just the right of it? That's about the best he could do.
90. Quiet up there, please.
Just a little bit of noise in the crowd there. But, he's got up and back down again on the shot. Always best to do that.
And
there's not much available now to Mark, and he hasn't got the greatest of angles on the brown. If that red goes into the left corner, well, he can get back up. He's got plenty of cue power to screw that back, and I'm not sure if that red, 2 from the left side of the black's available. We'll find out shortly. Say no power, or no problem with the power. He's played a great shot there. Even if it doesn't go, he's got the one into the right corner.
24.
Great shot, wasn't it? Tremendous amount of screw back and side spin. Well, if he's on this red in the middle, we'll certainly be bringing the black into play, and this will be a big bonus. Didn't play on that red.
Yeah, the other one obviously doesn't pot. We can't see from this angle, but you can see from that angle that it doesn't.
An excellent shot, and that's opening another couple of reds now. Nicely on the pink. And this is great stuff from Max Selby. Really shown what he's made of.
31.
10-5 down last night.
32.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, no doubt, looking very, very comfortable last night. 10-5. But at the moment, he'll just be feeling a little bit more uncomfortable in that chair.
$38.
Still got a couple of little tricky ones here. No problem with this one. It's amazing
39.
they've played each other 18 times and Ronnie's won 11, but they've only played each other once in the World Championship. That was the quarter-final, 2010. Mark won that 13-11. It's going to turn out to be a fascinating final,
45.
this, the way things are going. 44 the difference. That clears the path for that red.
96.
And when he pots the pink, he'll only need one more red to make the frame safe. Interesting choice there from Mark. If he had a pot
52.
of the black, Ronnie would have needed a snooker, but he thought, I'll make absolutely sure and take the pink, play position, roll this red in, and Ronnie won't come back to the table. Oh, and can you believe it?
Wow, Selby, 52.
Can you believe it? But Ronnie's got to get on the black. He can still tie, but can he get nicely on the black? He just had to roll that in and put it on the near jaw, and they don't drop. He must get on the black.
One.
Just ran a little bit further than he would have liked. No.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, just
One.
overran that cue ball. Wanted to be a little bit straighter on that black. Made the putt so much more difficult. Well, Ronnie comes to the table 50 points behind. 43 remaining, so 2 reds, 2 blacks, and 2 4-point snookers required. Well, he might just concede if he misses this.
Foul. Mark Selby, 4. Thank you.
So Ronnie carrying on simply because of the black and green. They're in a pretty good position for possible snookers. Not often you would see Ronnie play on when he needs 3 snookers. Oh, he's played this well. He may just stay on his seat here. And he does. He's signalled to Brendan Moore that he's conceded the frame. And Mark Selby, well, what a start for the jester from Leicester. 2 in a row, and he's just 1 behind now at 10-9.
Well, amazingly, Mark Selby has clawed his way back into this match. Isn't it amazing what happens? And the first frame of any session is very important. And Mark Selby was helped by bizarre circumstances in this first frame. And I do think Ronnie O'Sullivan missed a massive tactical trick here. Take a look at the situation again. The yellow and the green over the bottom 2 baulk pockets. 5, 6 reds already down in that area, and it was going to be very difficult for Ronnie O'Sullivan to force an error from Mark Selby, who didn't have to push the situation. He could play for a stalemate. He could play for a draw. Ronnie O'Sullivan perhaps swayed by the fact that he was 32 points in front and he thought that was an advantage. But in this situation, it's not much of an advantage at all, because how is he going to get Mark Selby to make a mistake from this situation if Mark Selby is not going to risk trying to play a positive shot? He doesn't have to play a positive shot. OK, perhaps Ronnie O'Sullivan could try and get the cue ball down behind the black and somehow force an error, but it was going to be so difficult. Eventually, I think, all of the reds were going to be pushed into the bottom half of the table and the safety play was going to be played to the top. But really, I think Ronnie O'Sullivan should have just said, look, I'm happy with a re-rack. Let's get on with it. Mark Selby was delighted. Ronnie O'Sullivan played the shot. He mishit it, yes, and he went in off, but he was asking for trouble by not asking for the re-rack. He hit this far too thick. He'd have been devastated to see the white ball go in the pocket, and Mark Selby was left with a chance he should never have had.
And he took it, and in fact, he's taken the next one as well. He's won the last 4 frames of this match, and he's drawing Ronnie into the kind of game he doesn't want to play.
It's amazing. The first half dozen shots of each frame are vital for Ronnie, because I think if he doesn't get in first in those first half dozen shots, it turns into a half-hour frame or 20-minute frame, and Selby becomes favourite.
In effect, John, how much is he breaking Ronnie's rhythm out there?
Well, that's what happens, because you get chances less and less, but that's because Mark Selby's match play is superb. I did a commentary on the Ali Carter match the other night, and for an hour and a half, Ali Carter didn't see a ball. I mean, and he's been in 2 World Finals. He did not see a ball. Every time he came to the table, he was in trouble. And every shot that Selby played had a purpose about it. It wasn't just, let's chuck the cue ball willy-nilly into the baulk area. Let's put it where it's the maximum trouble. And he did it constantly all through the game.
Yes, Ali Carter said he completely froze him out in that match and that his match play skills were total granite, is the way he described it. Well, they were back, and Mark Selby on a roll in this final.
Mark Selby to break.
So Mark Selby breaks off. Just 1 frame behind now. It's very true what Stephen Landry said in the studio there. The first half a dozen shots from Ronnie O'Sullivan. If he's not in early and winning the frame becomes more prolonged and Mark Selby becomes the favourite.
But he doesn't want to push the boat out too much, Ronnie. Just wait for a decent chance. I mean, this is a tough one. Now, where's the red going to finish? couldn't really play for the black there because he knew he would put Mark right in amongst them. So tried to screw back for the blue, but it's a tough shot to pot at that pace.
I think you're right though, Dennis. He doesn't want to start pushing the boat out and going for too many risky ones, because his safety is top drawer against anybody, Ronnie O'Sullivan. There's the long pot success, 56% now. Ronnie's down to 64%. Mark Selby.
One.
Yeah, he wanted to get the black back on its spot, but he couldn't do that until he removed the red that's sitting on the black spot there. And that's why he played for it. Oh, an unwanted kiss there has spoiled things. He couldn't hold for the black. He had to go down for the blue and then back up for that red. But he could still get on the red, as we show you the unwanted flick on the red there. But you can avoid the cannon on the green and get back up for the red near the black. Well, I thought he could avoid the green. And I think he thought he was going to avoid the green, but
9.
Premature end to the break.
Mark Selby, 9.
Red's come up middle of the table, but he's got a decent cue ball. Ronnie is certainly taking this on to one of the corner pockets. Well, didn't attempt to that time, instead played a more aggressive safety shot. Now as he left this red into the left corner, doesn't look like it.
Well, you can see Ronnie's intention there. He wanted to get the game open. But Mark Selby's such a good safety player. But it certainly opened the reds up, and the pink and black are available. Might be able to get through to this one. That's near the left corner pocket, so a key shot coming up for Ronnie. He's really been kept away from the scoring end of the table for a couple of frames. Not easy to get on the colour here. He's got to avoid all those reds or make a cannon and possibly leave himself on the black, but it's not straightforward. It's all about the cue ball here. Must make sure of the pot though. And he's looking at the tip again. Maybe a little fibre. He did that last night and then got down and missed an easy black.
Cued that in lovely. A nice little kiss on the pink just to bring that into the play. But excellent cueing. There's a bit of pressure on that shot. Being frozen out for the last few frames. Straight away, trying to get that black back on its spot.
7.
Just shows you can.
Ronnie
These pockets. Ronnie's one of
7.
the best I've ever seen at potting that type of shot along the cushion, but when the pressure comes on, it's amazing if you force them and touch that near jaw. To be fair, the red jumped there, having looked at it again. So maybe I did just threw it offline slightly. Let's just have a look at this again. You can see even the white jumped a little there. But they do seem a little bit tighter, these pockets, since they've got to the semi-final stages.
Selby 1.
They're delicate little shots. Sometimes we see the player not reach and then you put yourself in trouble, but he's cut off the escape across the table, so slightly more difficult this one. Now he's left a red for the right middle, and if he's got an angle to run through for the blue, Mark will take this on. In fact, there's 2 reds that he could take to the middles, but maybe the angle's not there for the easier pot. Now looking at one into the corner, and he feels he can take this on and get the white through the gap of the reds there. Good shot. He's cannoned the pink.
1.
Didn't intend to cannon the pink there.
Yeah, it's just gone a little bit awkward. You can still cut this brown back and doesn't really have to worry about position because of the proximity of the red to this bottom left-hand corner pocket. I'm just going to make sure of the pot here. He's okay.
5.
Yeah, when you start playing well, you get the run of the ball. It was a good shot, but when you're struggling, sometimes you're just dropping behind the black there when things are not going well for you. Now, where's the cue ball? He's okay. Oh, and the siders took him off 2 cushions, but
6.
he's covered the brown. Would you believe it?
Well, that's very unlucky. Any sort of a full ball contact on that red, he would have been perfect on the brown. Could try and attempt the blue, but again, very, very risky. Excellent shot. No, needs a bit of luck this time.
$11.
Well, he may be just okay.
Well, it's almost straight. He's close to it, but he's got to raise the butt of the cue so that he doesn't push this. That was a nice little run, as we show you the red going in when he caught the jaw, the middle pocket to send the white over there. It has to be said, because he wouldn't have had an easy pot on, I don't think. Wow, look at that. That's incredible. 6,339 points each. Just watch this shot here as he pots the blue. It's a very difficult pot, but watch the white. I mean, it flicks the jaw of the pocket and over it next to the red. I mean, he wouldn't have been on a pot without that.
70.
I'll tell you what, he's on a few pots now, though. Already 20 in front. There's a few more to come here, you would have to say.
Next. $23.
Well, there's no doubt Mark Selby is looking a completely different player from yesterday. At one time during the match, he was totally gone.
24.
Highest break. Only 38. Well, 42 in the first 11 frames. He's looking completely different player now.
Well, he's just showing fantastic character here.
31.
He really is. Still has that little mannerism where he moves around
32.
his head, and he's always done that. Probably did it a little more. He's worked on that and his technique, and he's the complete player now, you'd have to say. And this would be
59.
5 in a row, believe it or not.
Thank you. 40.
the black. He needs one more red and a colour to take the frame and draw level.
Well, he could have played that a little bit harder.
47.
So this red will leave him 51 points ahead with 51 on the table. Yes, it's there.
48.
And this black will certainly secure the frame. And this has been an incredible turnaround. 10-5 down as
55.
wife Vicky and family look on.
Yeah, that's Vicky's mum and dad there, and Vicky's mum's a bag of nerves. When I run into her in the hotel, she's a delightful lady. They're from Ipswich, a great part of the
56.
country.
$60.
Tell you what, Ken, you could hear a pin drop in the Crucible
61.
Theatre. I think this crowd, well, they weren't expecting this from Mark Selby.
No, totally enthralled, engrossed by it all, and it is a fascinating contest. The way O'Sullivan started off this
66.
match, even Stephen Hendry in the studio said it could be over very, very soon, but Mark stuck in there.
67.
Showed all his qualities, and all of a sudden this match has swung in Mark Selby's favour. Ronnie O'Sullivan's fans and friends will be very, very concerned at the moment.
74.
Well, he misses the yellow. Ronnie O'Sullivan stays in his chair. An incredible comeback from Mark Selby. 10-5 down at one stage. It's now 10 frames all.
That's 5 in a row that Ronnie O'Sullivan has lost, and he's only done that once before in a final to Graham Dott, 2005. Little Dotty went 5-0 up, lost that final, of course, came back the next year and won it. But what a turnaround in this match, Sean. There was a blue to middle early on. What did it tell us, this choice tell us about Mark Selby at this stage of the match?
Well, if you need if there's any doubt about how good he is under pressure, there is bundles on this, because it's a shot, you know, you've got to get. I mean, it's come off the bump and gone and finished next to the red, but that was a massive shot with lots of pressure on it. He knocked it in. He's very confident today. Looks like he's had a good night's sleep, but is he playing some good stuff?
He sure is. But I think what might surprise everyone at home is that when you look at Mark Selby down on the shot, shakes violently. Here's a very good example of this, Stephen. Is this adrenaline or nerves or both?
Yeah, there's a few players that do this. John Hings is another one that people probably would be surprised at, shake a lot in the shot, but actually play their best snooker when they're doing that. But looking at, you know, we said yesterday Mark needs to start scoring. I think the 5 frames he's won, he's had at least a 50 break in every one. And today he looks a lot more comfortable in the balls. His positional play is very good.
A lot sharper, John.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He's had a good night's sleep, that's for sure.
OK, back we go. Even Stevens.
Yes, it's even Stevens, Hazel, and an intriguing last frame before the mid-session interval. .74, he's creeping higher and higher with his highest break as Mark Selby. This time Ronnie gets the break-off shot as he wants. He got in behind the green once or twice, but you're trying to get the white there. You've got the black in open play. No touching ball, so there's not a lot Ronnie can do. And vice versa, not a lot that Mark can do. Yeah, until we get a touching ball, it's a little bit of a stalemate. No way you can get up the table from that position. They might even have a glance at each other. They've done it, is it 3 times now? We've had 3 re-racks. That could be touching.
It's touching both balls, right?
But can you see enough of the top cushion to get up to the balk end?
No, the side cushion only can see the top cushion, so he's got to be careful here. He doesn't want to leave a free shot here from Mark.
Well, at least this ended the stalemate. Mark can now play that red to the left of the bunch. We said this much too hard. When the yellow came to the rescue there, that white was going to hit that ball cushion and come back up the table, but the yellows prevented that. Yeah, and as Stephen Hendry said, Mark Selby's made over a 50 break. He's made 58, 62, 55, 52, 74. This is not easy. He had to bend that. You could see the swerve and he got too much on it.
We miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 4.
That was a very difficult shot he attempted there.
Yep.
So I'll have to get this one just right, Brendan, as we show you again. Just trying to bend it around the green and just flick any of those reds to get back up the table.
Yeah.
Just having a look up at the monitor to see that it's absolutely
Little
back.
bit more that way.
He's not quite sure whether it was that close to the cushion.
Okay.
He's got to be careful here. If he doesn't bend it enough, of course, he hits it half ball, he'll leave the cue ball down this end of the table. And there are also the possibility, if he doesn't hit it properly, cue ball could go in off. It's going to go very close to this left-hand corner pocket here.
Foul.
Well, that was amazing. He hit the first red and the second red and then went in off. But it was a possibility, as Ken said. But I'll tell you what it does do as we show you the shot again. It means that Ronnie's left with a dead straight pot. Now this to restore a bit of confidence because he's been kept off the table. Brilliant shot.
One.
Well, under the circumstances, and that was excellent. Cued it straight as a die.
Of course, he's got absolutely nothing else to go at, only the blue. The pink's tied up, the black's tied up. It's not a good angle to go into the pink, I don't think, from here. A little bit too straight for that. Needs to get a better angle on the blue to then play the cannon into the pink and reds. That's not the ideal position. He could catch a red if he tries to run through off the cushion here. Well, left-handed, and to get the white round there.
7.
Yeah, he just had no angle on the blue to work with there. He tried to force the angle and almost pulled it off.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 12.
Let's have a look. You see, it was almost straight, and he tried to power it in and just didn't quite get it away from the pocket. He is knocking some cracking pots in, Mark Selby, at the moment, and there's no sign of tiredness there. The old adrenaline's kicked in. He's wide awake out there. It's got to be difficult to pick a winner of this year's World Championship now. It looked all one way earlier on in the match. A bit unlucky because that red has blocked the path for the red that's on the black spot.
3.
Well, it hasn't. I thought it had. That picture tells you it didn't.
Four.
Has he got the angle to force it into the pink?
Yeah, and you can just sense there are little things happening in this game now. Ronnie just not getting the right side of the blue. Mark just marginally the right side of the blue, just marginally on that last red.
Well, watch this shot here. I thought he was going to power it in and try and bring the pink and reds into play, so he's going to wait for another chance. So he hadn't got the correct angle on the blue either. Do you know, there was he's looking around at the crowd, there was a cough just on his backswing there, so it was enough to just distract him. Most likely accidental. There you hear it, yeah. Timing wasn't very good. going to be a tactical final frame to end this session, and well, what a session for Mark Selby so far. Oh, well, pink and black are still tied up, but mishit that one slightly.
A lovely angle on the red there, just to screw into the pink, and couldn't play that much better. Just watch the cue ball here.
6. Well, Selby 6.
It was the previous shot, Ken. You could see he was shaking his head when he knew he had to get the rest out, and he was just thinking, why did I leave myself needing the rest? Didn't expect him to miss it, though. But the shot before was the one where he didn't get on the red as he intended.
Ah, good shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan. That's better.
1.
He really needs to string a few balls together here. Been completely frozen out. Nice angle on the yellow to get down to the 2 reds just below the pink.
Three.
Wow, this is a delicate little one he's playing here. He's only going to get the 1 extra point, because there's no value in potting the pink because he's running away up the table. So just give him the extra point there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
He'd like to play the 2 reds that are near the black and bring the black into play, but he'd have to be careful that he didn't cannon the red the right side of the table. He's now looking at them to see what would happen, but looking at that, if he tried that shot, he might send the black into the other red and knock it right over the corner pocket. And that's the reason he's not playing that particular shot. That was a much safer side to go, and he's played it well. Because he still brought the black into play going down the left side of the table. So he's only made 1 mistake in these 4 frames. That red with the rest, Ken. I can't recall any other mistakes.
Yeah, my safety's been good. He's keeping Ronnie under a bit of pressure. He hasn't had much to go at in these 4 frames. He's had a couple of chances in this frame, but it hasn't worked out for him. Another good safety shot from Mark Selby, blocking all the reds down the middle of the table. I think you can just about see this red on the left hand side.
He just got too much side on it. He was playing a thin one and he finished up swerving it into the red and hit it too thick, but he could have left something easier than this, as we show you the little double kiss that got a delicate little shot along the cushion, and that's what Ronnie thought of that shot. So he didn't get away with it. Mark Selby's target when he come out this afternoon would be to try and win 3 of the 4 frames. There's every chance he could win all 4. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, he's overscrewed that for the intended red. The intended red was the one that's closest to the pink into the left centre. Now, doesn't look like he has enough of the red to the extreme left. Well, maybe he can just about swing it. No, not enough, but screwing this up into the yellow pocket. No, it's not there.
Mark Selby, 8.
But again, hasn't left anything straightforward for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
I think this is a huge frame for Ronnie O'Sullivan, and he's looking at a very difficult pot to the middle here. That was very difficult indeed.
One.
Well, he's faced with the long blue, but I think the green, he's looked at the green, he's looked at the blue, and he's in a pretty confident mood. The blue was the better shot for position, and
6.
he hammered this into the pocket.
Seven.
Yeah, well, you did say it's a huge frame for Ronnie O'Sullivan, but also would strike a psychological blow for Mark Selby should he go ahead for the first time in this match, as he's played an excellent cannon
14.
on that red.
You just sense that Mark Selby is really enjoying himself out there. It's the final of the World Championship. He's been to the final once before. It's the only major he hasn't won, but he's just getting stronger and stronger.
20.
So Ronnie's going to have to just regroup. And as I say, he hasn't done much wrong himself. Ronnie just been kept off the table. He can quite easily turn things around, as we mentioned before, as he did against Joe Perry. And look at the pot success rate, gone up to 94% in the last 4 frames.
21. 28. Selby 28.
Oh, that's a great shot. Excellent shot from Ronnie O'Sullivan there. And he's in a bit of trouble. Yeah, Max Selby can't push the cue ball down towards the green pocket because he's straightforward safety shot here. If he just pushes the cue ball just up past the black, he may be able to cover that red beside the green.
It was interesting to see Mark Selby's face as he was coming to the table. He turned away to the crowd and smiled, but as if to say, I'm surely you didn't play that, Ronnie. And that was it, when he seen the white finish where it did.
Foul, miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Oh, can Ronnie bounce the two balls up the table? It's a bit risky. It's a little bit risky. And he's been unlucky. He's knocked the red towards the yellow pocket. But he wanted that cue ball tight on this cushion behind the black.
Quiet
and if
down,
it had
please.
been, he would have put Mark in trouble. As it turned out, good opportunity to win the frame here. And he's on the pink.
Seven.
Red colour red for Mark Selby. To go into the lead in this final for the very first time.
8.
Just the red needed.
11.
The pressure of that frame ball
Selby 11.
rears its head again. If the red goes in, it's 4 in a row. Oh, what can Ronnie summon up as we show you the red? Just hit the jaw of the pocket. What a shot he's faced with here. Oh, it was close. Where's the red going? Six frames in a row it would be. That's amazing. What a turnaround. Last time there were 6 frames in a row was John Higgins against Sean Murphy. We were back in 2009 in the final. Now where's the red again? It's all about the red. It's okay. Doesn't want to knock the black. Completely safe. Ronnie needs the red and black. You see 34 the difference with just 35 on the table.
So will Mark play red up into balk and try and just cannon the black towards this top cushion, try and keep it safe. It's a little bit risky. But he has a lot of colours there as possible blockers.
Purposely trying to knock the black tight on the cushion to make it even more difficult for Ronnie. Well, has the green come to the rescue? If the red goes past the green, well, it won't. There you see it. Can I get it safe this time? Well, he didn't want the red to go in. Someone was saying get in, but that's the last thing that Ronnie wanted. Just had to rely on a little bit of good fortune there. Just hit and hope that you get them safe. This looks to be almost dead straight, this red.
You may have no alternative but to play a possible pot here.
Lots of interest even on Twitter on this year's World Championship, as Ronnie just playing with his watch there, hoping that he will get a possible chance here. You'd think he'd have a go at this red, but he's a bit concerned about possibly running it in after the red, so There's a gap. As I say, the interval coming up after this frame, and I'll be answering viewers' questions after the interval. If you want to just tweet hash BBC Snooker on the BBC Sport website, I'm sure there'll be some interesting questions. But the interesting question here is, can Ronnie O'Sullivan pot this red and possibly get the black? I mean, he could play for the pink and go for a respotted black, a red and pink and all the colours, and he would tie. Oh, he's unlucky. He went for the win. He could quite easily have played for the pink. He thought, I'll try and develop the black. If the black had been nearer the cushion, he would have knocked it towards the pocket.
Well, he's looking at possibly playing the double on the black, but pink may be the better ball. Maybe just take the pink into the left centre or even up into the top pocket. Can he just drop the black into the centre pocket?
Well, he tried to double that black up into the corner pocket, and that was, well, that was the first rash shot that Ronnie's played. He could have played for the pink off the last red and gone for a respot, but he tried to develop the black and it didn't work out. Well, who could have seen this coming? Mark Selby's come out here this afternoon and he has been superb. Ronnie started off so well with a 32 break, didn't open the reds, and since then it's been all Mark Selby. So what a final we have on our hands now.
$20.
10-7 behind. You can't do any better than win all 4 frames. And didn't he look delighted as he left the arena there? What a final we've got on our hands now. Mark Selby leads Ronnie O'Sullivan by 11 frames to 10.
Yes, 6 frames in a row, and as Dennis was saying, hasn't been done since 2009. John Higgins was 6 in a row. And in fact, very interesting tweets come in from the man that Mark Selby actually beat to get into this final, Neil Robertson, who says, Selby set anchor today and keeping Ronnie cold. Mark is almost favourite at this stage. So that's a fascinating observation from Neil Robertson. In fact, there's plenty more reaction coming in. And what have you got for us, Steve?
Well, Hazel, I would imagine all snooker players, especially all of the tour players, will be buzzing now. It's the type of match they're just fascinated to see how both players react. And obviously the social media going mad. That's where you can contact us on Twitter. Of course, that's one of the main ways. Mike Dunn, tour professional, qualified this season. Great to get on the tour again. Did fantastically well in Beijing. Mike Dunn, if you were ever fighting a war, Selby would be first on your list. Frontline, hashtag there. Joe Perry, this is more like the Mark Selby who I practiced with, a machine. We saw the one there from Neil Robertson about Ronnie Mark setting anchor. Judd Trump, back in England. Apparently, he went to Marbella to get over his quarter-final defeat from Neil Robertson. Watching the snooker in bed. Obviously, Judd, had a good time, did we? OK, such a good atmosphere, and I think it's going to be fantastic tonight. It's set up beautifully.
It sure is, and wherever you're watching it, I hope you are enjoying it. I'm sure Judd is as well. Now, you know, it was snooker commentator Clive Everton who described the World Championship as a marathon of the mind, and he's absolutely right. You know, after 17 days, we get a bit punch-drunk just watching this. But from the players' perspective, they are long days of mental fatigue and strategy and exhaustion and extremes of emotion as well as stamina required. And managing that emotion, well, that is a science in itself.
If I learned one thing during my career, in this game, no matter how hard you work or how talented you are, there will be more disappointments than successes, more tears than elation. It's a fact. It truly is a game for hard knocks.
It's a tough sport. It's like survival of the fittest in some sort of ways. It's kind of quite sadistic type of sport. It's a hard game, really.
The transformation of Ronnie O'Sullivan has been a revelation. The biggest talent in the history of the game has found a way to control his mind, to deal with the knocks and to unleash his awesome potential.
Goodness me, there's not many of those in a pound.
Working with sports psychiatrist Dr. Steve Peters, he's developed the ability to play his very best when under the most pressure.
I mean, this is just superb snooker.
Everything I have to thank to Steve. I owe my life to him, really.
The mental demands of snooker are unique, but how do they compare to other sports? Bill Beswick is a renowned sports psychologist who has worked with some of the most successful teams in British sport. Man United football, GB basketball and England rugby. This is his very first visit to the Crucible.
I've had the good fortune to be involved in games in some of the best and biggest arenas in the world. And I was astonished when I walked into the Crucible how tiny it was. It's intimate. The players can actually see the faces of the crowd. In my games, we don't actually see the faces of the crowd. We hear them. In snooker, you see them, but you don't hear them. This arena is a very intimidating place, if you allow it to be. I've been fascinated by how these players deal with being sat down. Most athletes like to keep on the move. If you keep on the move, you're not thinking. If you're not thinking, you're not becoming negative and anxious. So most athletes love momentum, but these players have to deal with momentum when they're at the table, doing well, and then that moment when they're not at the table, and that moment when they realise they're not going to be at the table for some considerable time, and they have to deal with that and stay focused for the next time they come to the table. It's a very tough game mentally. You have to switch on, and you have to have a routine, because otherwise minds get lazy and you make mistakes. And we prepare our athletes to go on the field or to go on the court or to go in the pool and not think. Go into your routine, don't think. And it's helped because everything happens so quickly. But here, you get a lot of time to think. So mental control, the discipline to keep your internal dialogue positive and confident while you're sat down for long periods and while the game stretches, very difficult skill. There are moments in all games that are similar to snooker, but with the difference with snooker is you have to recreate your preparation, your habits, again and again and again, because it's a game of great technique. And one mistake, just one mistake, can end the frame. Losers find a reason to lose because their mental strength cannot take them the whole way. So in individual games, it's a battle of you versus you, strong side versus weak side. And you're constantly facing that battle as you go through a long match. And if you've not got the mental strength to endure, then slowly your mind will give you excuses to lose. This is not my day. He's never played as well as this. The balls aren't breaking for me. I've had some bad luck today. I've done enough. And that's when the mind weakens, and that's when the loser loses and the champion steps up. Champions endure. They're not only very talented, but they've got tremendous mental strength. I'm totally impressed. To produce the performances they produce in the environment they're expected to produce it in, and repeat it in for a number of days. It is a very tough game. And what I've learned is it's a very tough game mentally and emotionally, and it fascinates me.
The champion does get the mind game right, finds a way to deal with the inevitable hard knocks, and is truly the last man standing.